Coleus. Hope you enjoyed that little montage of all my rootings. And if you're following along and keeping rootings yourself, again, as I mentioned in previous videos, or perhaps this is your first time watching my videos, please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. But if you're going to keep your rootings going all winter long, or maybe you're in the summer now and it's going to be winter over by you, just make sure you provide them with light. And very important is keep that water changed. Rinse the containers out. You don't have to rinse them with soapy hot water. You don't have to clean them like that. Just rinse the water. Make sure you rinse the root ball gently and change your water often, especially if it's near a window that gets a lot of sunlight and so forth. So just make sure you keep your rootings free of debris. Gently rinse the roots off, very gently, and change that water, and your rootings will last through your winter into spring. And then you can decide what you want to do. I plant all of my rootings. I don't generally keep rootings. I might keep a few, but I generally plant all of my rootings comes late spring and summer. So okay, so now let's go take a look at the trays of Coleus. They're doing really well. I'm excited. Indoor greenhouse is looking really good. It's all green soon. I'm going to be separating them, so stay tuned for my next video after this when I separate Coleus and make them and put them into the little nursery pots. So let's go take a look. Okay, so here is the indoor greenhouse. If you're new to my channel, again, please subscribe. But this is the indoor greenhouse, and as you can see, it creates its own little ecosystem. You can see that's that's all humidity, moisture, and there's no mold going on in here. This is ideal conditions for Coleus. It's nice and warm. I have baseboard heat. It's enclosed. I do air it out. I do give it a little air once in a while. And I have the hydroponic style LED plant light. It's a full spectrum plant light. Again, you can get these on Amazon, and they're relatively cheap, and they're very safe. They throw a little bit of warmth, and it just keeps these Coleus, for purposes of my videos, Coleus, but if whatever you want to plant, I have some peppers in here, and I have we'll get into that. I'm going to take these out now just for the video, but whatever you're planting, whatever plant you want to plant, these are ideal. As you can see, it's just a perfect ecosystem for the Coleus. Coleus love tropical humidity and the heat, the moisture, and the humidity. So this is really perfect, a perfect ecosystem for Coleus germinations to thrive. So let's go take these out, and we'll take a look and see my overcrowded Coleus. And there's about 600, so let's go take a look. All right, so here we are. Here's a couple of pots. I just made this one up last week. This is going to be a beautiful, beautiful full Coleus when it's done. I mean, by March, April, I mean through the summer, through summer, it's going to be a magnificent Coleus plant. Colorful, beautiful, and it's doing real well. These were two rootings that I had. And I'm like, you know what, these look really beautiful. I said, let me pot them up. So, and here's a Japanese giant. That's from last year. And again, I mentioned in previous videos, this really needs to be moved on into a larger pot in the spring and summer. It's gone as far as it has in this little pot. So, but I'm sure this is going to be a beautiful plant once I put it into a larger pot. So, all right. So here we are. Here's our trays. Now this is a monster. This is, again, these are doing so well. It looks really crowded because you remember these are the pods there, and this is I put smaller pods, so I have more and more plants. It looks really, really crowded because it is, but you can see we have lots and lots of coloring coming in. And they're all different varieties here. All different varieties. Again, I tried to keep it between 4 and 6 per pod. I've been doing this a long time, so I am pretty good at separating them. And it looks like I'm going to be starting separation in probably another couple of weeks. There's really no rush on it, but these are doing real well. They're again, that ecosystem in that greenhouse really is really helping these Coleus take off. Doing real well. Again, you can see the moisture that was in that greenhouse. I check it every few days. The ones on the end have plenty. They generally will dry out before the others. So keep track. If you're following along, let's go over here. This one's a little. I have some late seeds coming in. A couple of the pods didn't seed, so I threw some in a few weeks ago. So we have different Coleus coming in at a little different rate, which actually is good. This tray I kind of spread out, so I'm not going nuts, because by the time I'm done with this here, I'm going to be really going crazy separating them. So, but at this point, if you're following along, the plastic covering, if you have a indoor greenhouse like I do, take that plastic cover off. If you don't, and you're using a plant light with the heat, you're going to take that. There comes to a point where you can't really keep the plastic cover on, because it's going to get in the way of the plants and so forth, as long as they're not crushing the plants anymore. But you could take that off. Just keep track of your water. Again, you don't need to pour the water directly on the Coleus, but because this will absorb. So, but just keep track. Make sure they don't dry out. But at this point, again, as you saw in the beginning of the video, the greenhouse really keeps the humidity and moisture levels pretty well. So I don't have to, but I absolutely check on them, and I can tell by looking at them whether or not they need water. But again, at this point here, and it all depends on how many Coleus. If you're just growing a dozen of Coleuses or so forth, you can put these into your little pots. You can separate them out. Although I would still wait a few weeks. There's 3, 4. I would still wait. Give them time. There's not a big rush. But look at the color coming in already. And again, you remember the ears right there? The ears on that, those are still doing their job. They're still helping the plant, getting that photosynthesis going, and just feeding the Coleus. Very important. So you remember you got your light, your warmth, and your moisture. And you keep those things, keep all 3 of those, and you should have no problem growing your Coleus. So again, this one here is pretty thinned out. I do have a couple of late ones coming in. There's a few late ones coming in. You may get a few that don't look as well. I generally, I try not to weed them out, but I mean, I just hate to do it. But there may be a few that are really, they look sickly, so if, I'll pull them. But as you can see, this is really taken off. That's a lot of work, but I enjoy it. Just the anticipation, I'm looking so forward to. I'm already getting my Miracle Grow potting soil. I'm getting my bags of potting soil delivered. Getting that all ready. I have my little nursery pots ready to go, and I can't wait to separate these. And over here, I just have a little bit of, I have some bell peppers. I love bell peppers, so my wife does tomatoes and so forth later on, so I add my pepper plants in. And there again, I planted 2 jalapeno peppers, and the seeds I have, I guess, are immature because the past 2 years I tried to, and I just keep trying. And I guess the seeds that I got from the jalapeno were no good. I actually got these seeds from bell peppers that I bought at the store. And here's a tray of a variety of wildflowers, bee and butterfly attracting wildflowers, and these I will plant in the area. I have butterfly trees and so forth, but that's so important is for pollination and the health of your garden is to get as many butterflies and hummingbirds and insects, as much as we don't want insects, but bees, attract those bees and so forth to get your pollination going later on. So, but if you're following along, whether it's 12 Coleus or 1200, the principles are the same. Just more work. Just keep them, make sure that you maintain the moisture, the heat, and the light. Again, don't put your trays in direct sunlight for hours on end. The grow light and the greenhouse does plenty. So you just keep what you're doing going as you're going. Be patient. And again, these are like overnight. I just checked them the other day, and they've grown significantly. So here's my Jim's Holiest of Coleus stickers I ordered. I got a whole bunch of these. I'll be putting these on my pots. And again, this is going to be a beautiful Coleus. Let's see here. I got some really nice. It's just exciting because each Coleus, you know, if you have a tray filled with of Kongs or Jitters or Black Stockings, Defiance, whatever you're growing, if you grew 10 or 12 or 50 or 100, each plant is going to have a little different. It's going to be a little different. That's what's so exciting. Some a little more than others. I think that's a kaleidoscope, or finger paint, people call it, a kaleidoscope. So, all right, so any questions or comments, feel free to leave it at the end of the video. Pass my channel along if you want. I also, if you're not a Instagrammer, I have an Instagram channel too. So if you want to keep in touch with me there, just it's Jim's Holiest of Coleus as well, and also on Facebook. So if you're following along here on YouTube, and maybe you have questions on your plants or anything specific, you know, subscribe to me over on Facebook and hook up with me on Messenger. Shoot me some pictures if you have any questions, anything specific, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Lots of excitement here. We're really moving forward. I can't believe I'm already in the spring mood here in New Jersey. So, all right, again, thanks to all my my loyal subscribers that keep me going here. I really appreciate the interaction and the friendship and the great, the really kind words that you guys always give. Appreciate it so much. So, okay, so stay tuned. We'll be separating these really shortly, and I'll shoot a video out when I do that. Meantime, if you want, again, take a look through my list of videos. I do have some older videos of previous years when I separated them. If you're at the point that maybe you want to do it now, take a look at my videos on how to separate your Coleus germinations. Okay? All right, thanks again, everybody. Happy late, we'll call it late winter, even though it really just started, but here in New Jersey, it's been very mild. So, all right, thanks, everybody. Have a good week. Take care.